Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Anything Liverpool live stream. I have Dave and Deck here with me this evening, joining me after Liverpool have just won their latest preseason game against Bilbao 4-1 with goals from Rio and Gamoa, Darwin Nunez. We also had Harvey Elliott chipping in as well, and we had Ben Doak sneaking a goal in. We'll count it. It wasn't counted as an own
We
goal, but
count
we
it.
count it as a goal for Ben Doak.
100%.
But absolutely stellar performance from essentially the reserves, and a lot of players really staking their case for appearing in the first team for the coming season. Somebody like Rio and Gamoa, who I myself think maybe about 12 to 18 months too soon with age-wise, but he's really making it difficult for me to not think that he could go into the squad. But we're also going to talk about Alexander Isak and his news returning to Newcastle. We'll also talk about the Darwin Nunez news, where Ben Jacobs has confirmed that the finances aren't really going to be an issue. It's basically the same deal as what it was in January, which could net Liverpool £70 million in relation to Darwin Nunez. And if it's anything like the Victor Osimhen deal, that £70 million will be paid in full, which would be absolutely mental. But I'll throw it over to my panel mates at the moment. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. How are you, my friend? How did you find the game today?
Really good. I thought it was not surprising, but you saw the team out there. There's a few fringe players, like you've mentioned before. I didn't really know what kind of game it was going to be, but it was electric from the start, really, wasn't it? Rio looks a great player. I know you've said there probably a year away, but I think me and Deck are both on the understanding. Well, I believe so anyway, from the group tribune in. We think if he's good enough, he should be there. He should be on the bench every week, and he should be getting some game time, the last 15, 20 minutes of games, to go and kill the games off. So really excited to see him, appear this season. But yeah, game was good. I thought everyone played particularly well. It was nice, wasn't it? It was a good game of football, quite enjoyable. It's interesting. You're not sure what you're going to get in pre-season, are you? People just coming back to training, and are they leggy? Are they looking fresh?
Yeah.
But no, really good. Great to see some of the youngsters out there as well. And Nunez just letting everyone know he's still here for the moment.
Exactly.
Something that I really enjoyed out of that sort of first game is you could really sort of see the tactics that Arne Slot was playing for. And while a lot of people have complained that we don't that we try and pass the ball into the net, it seemed to pay off quite a lot with a lot of intricate passing. And people were a little bit worried about the technical aspect of it when we played against Yokohama in Japan, but we were playing on a bog of a pitch. Like, that was horrible.
Oh, mate, that pitch.
When you see them at Anfield, how quick and intricate all those passes can be, and this is the second team essentially, and that goal in the second half for Harvey Elliott with Nunez linking up, Tsimikas playing the ball through Deck, I can see that being Ekitike, maybe even Isak if he does come, but that being between Ekitike and Florian Wirtz, and an even higher level of technical ability that will be there, and as well the likes of Alexi McAllister that will be able to fill in as well. Just that first team seems to be utterly stacked with technical ability at the moment.
I mean, mate, Stephen, you've only got to look at the second team that we've put out for the 8 o'clock game. You look at that and you're thinking it's only pre-season. Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, Mo Salah. I know there's I know Alisson's out with personal reasons, and Van Dijk's apparently ill. But you still look at the superstars you have on that roster. It's just it's quite incredible, really. And then as Dave mentioned earlier on, with the likes of Rio and Gamoa coming up and stuff, it's just a great time to be a Red, isn't it? When you think about it, it's just overall just a great time to be a Red. And I think that we're almost not used to this in a way, which sounds a little bit sort of like degrading, because we're a massive behind Real Madrid. I would say we are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and I think we've just become so used to the way we operate, especially under the Jurgen Klopp's tenure. And I just think now it's the future. I just really do think it's the future coming for us Liverpool fans. I really do.
Yeah, that's exactly the way that I look at it. Like, it's setting up to win now, and also setting up for post Salah and Van Dijk, because I think I looked at the ages, and in 2 years' time,
35.
Yeah. Well, in 2 years' time, when for the attacking options, anyway, in 2 years' time, when Salah leaves, Florian Wirtz will be 24. Rio Ngamoa will be 19, still 18, about to go 19.
Wow.
Cody Gakpo will probably be on the way out. He'll be going into his last year of the deal. They may cash in there and let Rio come through. You then have Ekitike, who's going to be 25. And if you get Isak is going to be coming to 28. That's a serious front line of players that are still post-peak or entering peak, or in Isak's case would just be probably entering the exit of his peak. But if you're walking out of those 2 years with 2 Prem titles and maybe a Champions League thrown in as well, you're not really going to complain about it either. But before we move on to the preview for the second game, just make sure everybody to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We've over 2,000 people watching us across Twitter and YouTube right now. If you are watching on Twitter, or X as it is now, we get used to that. There's a comment just below this post which has the link to the video. Jump over there. We're going to have a lot of content coming your way. I myself have just recorded 5 replacements for Luis Diaz, which should be coming out hopefully tomorrow. So make sure you've liked and subscribed and hit your notifications as well, so that you'll get a notification about that too. So we can't wait for it. We're going to move on to the Isak news, as we have Mr. Hassan here asking, what is the latest on Alexander Isak? So far, the timeline, as we understand it, is Isak was left training with Newcastle, refused to go on the tour, was training by himself, then left and went back to Sociedad or San Sebastian and started training there, and now has reported back to Newcastle's training ground as of today. It was there for a couple of hours and has since left. Multiple different conflicting reports have occurred in relation to it. Some saying he was there to receive treatment for injuries. Others, maybe bantering a little bit, have said he went there to clear out his locker. But the way that I look at it is that multiple sources, including the likes of Fabrizio Romano, have said that no sale has been sanctioned yet. It's getting to be a bit squeaky bum time right now.
Yeah.
A sale needs to be sanctioned, or we need to move on, because if Newcastle aren't going to entertain a sale and they want to deal with the fallout of Isak not getting his move, we can go again in January, we can go again in next summer. But there's more pressing issues at the moment with the centre-back situation that need to be sorted. Yeah. Deck, I'll throw it over to you first.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the whole Isak situation? Is this something that the quality of player you're willing to wait for and maybe be later on in the window, or is this something that we need to sort of set a deadline on, do other business, such as a centre-back if needs be? Because right now, the only fit ones are Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, and we really don't want a repeat of Jordan Henderson playing at centre-back again, do we?
No, definitely not. I think as much as I would love Alexander Isak at Liverpool, and I think that, you know, we can and we may get that deal done one day. I do think Isak will eventually be a Liverpool player. I just think there's too much in it for it not to happen. I've spoke to Dave about this. I am worried about the centre-back situation, and the only thing that's really sort of like keeping me grounded is the fact that I don't think we would have sold Gerald Kwanzaa without a plan being in place for someone who we've already maybe eyed up, or someone we've maybe spoken to, or I just think Mark Gay, like it'd be great. We obviously not going to say no, but like you said, I mean, you look at it now. I mean, we were speaking about this the other day. Joe Gomez is already injured, and it's only pre-season, so it makes you wonder. I mean, I know, and like I said, it's pre-season, but you look, Robertson playing centre half, Stevenson, he's naturally more of a right back, even though he's only a young lad himself. I just hope that. I mean, I've said for the longest time we need 2 centre backs. So if it's me, do we put all our eggs in one basket for Alexander Isak, and then you just drag this out for the entirety of the window? No, and I don't think the club and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are silly enough to do that. I think you give it another week, say 10 days at the max. Yeah, you give it another week so, and then I think he just goes, and it's not like there isn't options out there. I was speaking to one of the lads in the group, and you've got Rodrigo, who's openly admit he's turned down Spurs. He'd happily come to the football club, so that's another attacking option. Fofana, a young prospect from over and playing in France. I think he's at Lyon. So it's just, I just don't think that we're going to get into some sort of a bidding war, if you want to say so, for Alexander Isak. I just think we're not messing about this window, especially as proven as well with Florian Wirtz, etc. coming in. So
it's one of those that I never thought Alexander Isak would come. And the reason I never thought he would come is because I thought Newcastle wouldn't sanction the sale. And the reason I didn't think they'd sanction the sale is because they couldn't get anybody through the door to replace him, which has been proven true the entire summer so far. They have literally not even been able to pull themselves out of bed. They have that little pull. And the issue then becomes, at what point do Newcastle, like, there's no point in us paying 120 million quid to Newcastle if Newcastle can't spend it.
Exactly.
And they can't get anybody in. They have 120 million burning in their pocket then at that point. And the issue then becomes, it's getting to the last 4 weeks of the window. They don't have a sporting director. The project seems to be absolutely falling apart. They can't seem to get anybody. They've been rejected by Ekatike, João Pedro, Liam Delap. Alanga didn't look like he was coming first until they overpaid for him. Mark Gahey in recent times, even though they've reignited interest in him. Who else was it? James Trafford decided to go be a backup at City rather than be a starter probably for Newcastle. And then now you have Isak rejecting new deals and everything like that. It's one of those that it's strange to see. But Dave, from your perspective, when do you think the cutoff is with regards to Isak moving to Liverpool? And is this something that we may revisit in 12 months? Or do you think if he doesn't come now, it's now or never, as the striker market may just dry up in 12 months?
Yeah, interesting. Now, at the very end of last season, we were all saying the number 9 is the priority. And I would suggest that Isak or Alvarez was our number 1 target as the 2 best frontmen in the world, I think, currently, that are obtainable, realistically. I don't think we would have put any bid in for Isak if we didn't think there was a chance that he'd come over. I just don't think we would have already have walked away and would have been working on someone else, so we've both been up and down over this deck, haven't we? We're like, is he coming? Is he not coming? Is he coming? Is he not coming?
Keep Darwin Nunez if we have to.
We're keeping Darwin. We're keeping Darwin. We're selling Darwin. But I just think there's too much going on. There's too much noise. Isak's throwing his toys out the pram a little bit, if you believe what's being said. Liverpool have come in and said we weren't. Well, it's speculation, but Liverpool would not bid unless they saw, the door was opened, was the words. Then there's a Liverpool bid, So we've been told to bid, I believe, and I think the right price gets him over. Again, I wasn't sure he'd be coming over, but now as the time ticks on, I think it is inevitable. I don't think Liverpool would go in with all their eggs in one basket. Again, I think they're far more clever than that. So either there is another striker, because we need forwards. If Nunez is going to go, which we'll come on to shortly, and there's people in for Chiesa as well. We've lost 3 forwards, obviously with the tragic passing of Jota. We have lost 3 forwards there and brought in Ekatike. So we are light already, and I would suggest that the number 9 was our priority, this season. With the money they're spending, Liverpool have come out to say, well, we're going to go and win the league next year. And Alexander Isak is the piece that wins you the league next year, as far as I'm concerned. It was the one thing that we were just shy of last season. The front 3 did go through a little spell of not scoring, all of them, Salah included, I think, towards the end, and we're all saying, come on, smash these records, Salah, and it was like one goal in 10.
Assist. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So I think he comes over. I think it's a matter of time, and I obviously could be wrong, but in terms of now or never, I think Liverpool have said that to Isak. It's you come now or we'll move on, because you know what, in a year's time there'll be another player that won't cost 150. The 150 for me is to now go and buy the league for next year.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Unashamedly, I am happy to say that we will go and buy all the trophies. And it's about time we did.
It's about time we did. It's about time we did, mate. Honestly,
exactly.
But I would like to think, though, that there is possibly another option if Isak doesn't come. There's got to be someone else that they're quietly working on behind the scenes. Maybe it is an Alvarez,
that's my goal. That's my dream, mate. If we
said that at the start, didn't we?
We've said that for weeks, mate. We've said that for weeks, mate. We have.
Before the transfer window opened, we were like, it's Isak or Alvarez. Who else could there possibly be? But anyways, I think he comes. That's where I'm at now. I think, And we'll probably feel completely different tomorrow. But
I know,
Yeah, exactly.
such is this transfer
see,
window.
see,
And
see what
it's the
happens at
best
8
one.
o'clock.
It's the best one
Ekatike
ever.
scores hat-trick at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
We'll keep
yeah.
him.
You see, the way that I look at it is that Isak is a market opportunity because he wants to go. We've convinced him on personal terms in principle anyway from Florian Plettenberg and what he said.
Yeah.
There's three options that basically happen, in my opinion. Option one is Newcastle just cut their losses and say, look, we'll deal with it. 120 million, fire it over, we'll sell them. And they'll just try and wing it for the last 4 weeks of the window and get somebody in, maybe have the ability to then overpay at the time because they're getting that 120 million in.
Andy Carroll vibes.
Yeah, and just gamble. But if you look at it from Newcastle's point of view, this is what they're looking at. This is what they're looking down the barrel of. 12 months ago, they were hours away from breaching PSR before they sold Anderson and Minte. And they were about to sell Gordon to us with Gomez going the other way before that happened. This year, they've gotten into Champions League following a year without it. But now they've signed nobody other than Alanga and Isak and their big ticket guy, Isak, who you would use to attract other signings once out the door. And have been rejected by so many different players. And we nicked their number one target in Ekatike.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well for them next season. So the way that they're probably looking at it at the moment is we know Isak will probably get us 30 goals in all competitions next season.
Yeah.
Even if it is a lost cause, he can help us get back into Champions League spots. Arsenal and City might be the only contenders for that top four. And if all teams go far in the Champions League, it opens up the fifth spot as well and gives them a better option. If they turn around and say, we can probably gamble on keeping Isak, just dealing with the fallout of having an unhappy player, unless he completely downs tools and just goes on proper strike.
Yeah.
That Newcastle can then secure a second year in a row in the Champions League to then build a foundation that they're going to have steady income over the PSR period and the UEFA FFP periods. Because if they're just yo-yoing in and out of it, they're just going to be in limbo and they're never going to try and break that glass ceiling that they're trying to do at the moment. The third option then is that they just get their signings and Isak goes. And Sesko seems to be more set on going to Man United than he does to Newcastle, which in and itself is a massive red flag for the Newcastle project. Because if he's happy to go to United over Newcastle, who have Champions League, and he would be the main guy, it's a horrible indictment of what Newcastle are trying to sell at the moment. And that comes from not having a sporting director either, unfortunately. The way it's one of them that I feel Newcastle aren't going to sanction a sale until they get their signings through. And even if they get their signings through, that's a big if, because even if they get them through, like they've 3 weeks, 4 weeks left of the window. The Premier League starts in
next Friday.
Next Friday week, less than 2 weeks.
Friday, 8 o'clock, we kick it off. Yeah.
So as it stands at the moment, we need to get 2 centre backs through the door.
Yeah.
They need to sell Isak and get centre backs, midfielders, wingers, and a goalkeeper through the door. I lied. They actually have gotten a goalkeeper through the door. Mr. Relegation himself in Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale, yeah.
But that just shows how terrible their summer window has been. And I can guarantee you what they're going to try and spin to Isak is, look, help us get Champions League again and we let you go next summer. But Dec, the way that I look at it is, what if by January we're 7 points clear at the top of the table or 10 points clear at the top of the table? Ekatike has 15 goal contributions, 10 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. And we just turn around and be like, we'll just go to Palace and get Mateta instead just to back him up. There's that world as well where there's actually no market for Isak hilariously in 12 months' time.
No, 100%. Like you said, you get to January and you're like, Ekatike's firing on all cylinders. And then, I remember when I first seen the news about Mateta, and I was like, do you know what? I'm sure I've said this to Dave in the group. I was like, do you know what? Off the bench, I'll have John Philippe Mateta off the bench. I will. Honest to God, I would have him off the bench. Would you saying just about like Newcastle, like whether whether they're going to sell this summer or whether we're going to have to wait and stuff, and then by that time you never know what's going to happen. You've seen it in recent years, but Ekatike could just turn into a world class striker and stuff, and we're fine, and we're like you said 7 points clear. But I just think regardless of that, I just feel like if Isak really wants to come to Liverpool Football Club, which by all accounts, by the sounds of it, he does, I just think we've got the money there, and that's just to tie that into the whole centre back situation and whether we're going to put all our eggs in one basket. I feel like we know the money's there for Isak and we're willing to pay. We've already bid. As far as I'm aware, we bid 110 million pounds, I believe. That's got rejected by Newcastle United. So we know the money's there. So that's the only thing that's sort of keeping me from worrying about the centre back situation. If I'm being honest with you, Stephen, mate, I just think that because we know we've got the money, I'm not as worried because I think that we will just eventually get a centre back. I don't see why a young centre back wouldn't want to come and play for us. Mark Gay's perfect. He's experienced within the Premier League. And I know Newcastle have been after him themselves, like you mentioned. So, but I just think that we are just obviously with the champions, and that's just how it works. And hopefully Alexander Isak comes to the club. But at the moment, I just think we should focus on priorities, and if Richard Hughes doesn't look at it as a priority, then we move forward and we get the centre halves. And if he's available in Newcastle, and like you said, we're cruising with 7 points clear, etc. We're not really too fussed because Ekatike is doing his job at the end of the day. Because let's be honest, we've just paid how many £1 million for him. So he is our number 9 as it currently stands, because Darwin Nunez is going to go. Then we might just go to Newcastle. There you go. 120 million. We'll bring him in, which sounds crazy, but I think that's just the world that we're living in at the moment. I think that's just how much world class footballers cost. And in my opinion, Alexander Isak, behind Haaland, you could argue Lewandowski over in Barcelona. I think Alexander Isak is up there with one of the best strikers in the world. So you will pay that money, regardless.
No, completely agree. Like it's not as much. It's not even the money side of it, as you said. They were willing to just throw 110 million there again, and just be like,
and then we knew Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards would know that would be rejected, by the way, because they know it's a low ball offer.
100%. Yeah. It's more the I think it's more the fact that they've just put the bid in. It's like, this isn't our final bid. Let's just chuck this grenade in now.
Yeah.
We told you we'll do everything for you. Right, here's the bid. Here's the public bid. We've been talking behind the scenes. Newcastle have definitely said, we're after 150. Let's say, and Edwards has gone, all right. Well, there's 100.
Yeah,
another 10 in add-ons. Your move. What's next? I think they're playing, they're playing the cards right. I don't think though that it's a kind of either we're getting Isak or we're getting centre backs. There's surely moves in play at the moment to bring the centre backs in, and like I said, I don't think that will be a problem.
Especially because we sold Quanta as well. I just think that's just a massive indicator that we are going to get a centre back.
Yeah, plus we've got Canate with his deal. Is he signing a new deal? Is he going to Real Madrid? Then you've got Van Dijk, which we spoke about before. Fantastic player, but let's be honest, by the end of this point next year, will we be saying is that Van Dijk done? Just because of his age?
It'll be the whole 12 months left on the contract saga again for the whole season. That somehow the media loves to run with nowadays. Like they like to put it down your throat. Oh, he's only got 12 months on your contract. It's like you've got to give the player some time to decide what he wants to do based on age as well.
Yeah, exactly. I just think we should have Van Dijk's replacement in already. Learning the ropes, playing alongside him. We all thought that it would be Harto coming in, didn't we? Chelsea have nabbed him now, but it looks
Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. He's went off to Real Madrid.
He went to Real Madrid. So these were both players we thought, these guys are coming in to replace him. Hato looks like he's going to be playing more at left back for Chelsea, which we don't need. We're stacked in left back options now, aren't we?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. Gay, he seems to tick all the boxes. He's Premier League ready, and I think what we've seen with the spending so far is we've gone for Premier League ready players to just go straight in there. Your Kirkes, Frimpong, he's played in English football before, he's ready to go as far as I'm concerned. Ekatike, not so much, which is why I think Isak is the number one. He's the number one target. He was just meant to come in, hit the ground running, and score all the goals. Etikite's become available, and we've said, yeah, great young player.
Bring
You
him
know, bring him in now, because now's the time. Florian Wirtz as well. We spent a lot of money on Florian Wirtz. We must think that he's going to hit the ground running. But yeah, for me, Gahey coming in it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Or is there another Premier League centre back that's about to come in? Because I think they do need to be ready. We need ready players that can just drop straight into this team when needed, when called upon. Don't need time to kind of gel, learn the league, learn the surroundings.
That's a big thing,
I think they've gone for a mixture of both with the signings that we've seen so far, but we need Premier League ready players, don't we? You know what I mean? Etikite, let's hope he hits the ground running, but it may take him time to come in and gel. It might. He's a foreign player and he's coming to a different league. It might take time. It could be 6-7 months before we see him really hitting his stride. So, yeah, for me, bring in Isak. He'll bang you the goals in. Etikite can get a little bit less pressure on him then. And then, a centre back, or at least
it takes the pressure off Florian Wirtz as well, because if Isak comes in, it's like, and not only that, but it's like, can we just have a special mention to the Egyptian king? I'm not being funny, but Mo Salah almost carried us last season. Let's be honest, Luis Diaz wasn't firing all cylinders. Darwin Nunez is Darwin Nunez, and behind him, it's like you're trying to play Gakpo down the middle, Diaz on the left, or vice versa. It's just not. It's crazy because of how many attacking options we do have. Chiesa goes. Let's say Salah's getting on a bit. We've got the AFCON this year. I think realistically, especially if Nunez goes as well, and unfortunately with the tragic passing of Diogo Jota, I just feel like it's mad to say, but because of the talent that we've got at the club already. But I do think that we just do need that number, just that out and out number 9, and it takes the pressure off Salah, like I said, which sounds mad because Mo Salah is just great at what he does. Let's be honest. But I think as well, he is getting older, and it ties into what we were mentioning about Van Dijk before. You got to remember them two players are on the same level at the moment within the career. So he's getting older. If Florian Wirtz is only a young centre attacking midfielder from the Bundesliga, who, again, Dave, as you mentioned about Ekatike, it's a foreign player and they do have to settle in. So, get Isak, and he's proven in the league. He doesn't have to sign it. It's plug and play, mate. It's plug and play. It's plug and play, mate. It's exactly, Dave. Plug and play. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. That's where I'm at with it. But I do really need. I just think we need at least a couple of centre backs, please. Richard Hughes, get a couple of centre.
We know you're a big fan.
Hello, yeah, definitely.
Well, considering all the Ekatike prop that I've had for the last 6 months, and that he was my number one guy because he's basically an Isak clone, clearly he was listening to me. So, the thing about it is, with Ekatike and the strikers and the forwards, when you have Florian Wirtz, you have Mo Salah, you have Ekatike, and then you have Cody Gakpo on the left wing, that front four, you only need all of them across the entire season to get 25 goal contributions each. It doesn't matter how they come, but if you have all 4 of them getting 25 goal contributions each, which might seem like a small number for somebody like Salah or somebody like Wirtz who's gotten 30 in his last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But now you have 4. It's the whole Moneyball trope that has always been the ethos at Liverpool, is that you replace them in the aggregate, meaning that if every single one of them front 4 gets 25 goal contributions, Isak doesn't need to be the guy. Ekatike doesn't need to be the guy. Salah doesn't need to be the guy. Wirtz doesn't need to be the guy. And Gakpo doesn't need to be the guy.
Yeah.
They all complement each other. You could be sat there with Ekatike with 15 goals and 10 assists in a season, Wirtz with the same, Gakpo with the same, and Salah with the same, and now you have 100 goal contributions between your front 4. Which is basically the PSG model of everyone contributes. And if Isak came, and this is a bold take that I'll have, if Isak came, he doesn't get more than 20 goals in all competitions.
No.
And the reason I say that is not because he can't, but because it'll be spread around so much that everybody else will be scoring.
I think he does. I think he comes and he absolutely balls. All the tap-ins, just that many chances dropping to him.
Look at what happened last season, Dave, when we had Nunez up front.
I think he'll be electric, you know what I mean? But Yeah, it is. I understand totally. But saying that front four's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But one injury, and then who's
What's
coming
going
in
on?
is Chiesa then, not so much. It's Rio and Gamoa will force to play a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, much as we love him. But let's be honest, he should only be playing 15 minutes a game,
Yeah, yeah.
working his way in. It's the depth that I worry about then,
Yeah.
So yes, that front four's phenomenal, but we're missing someone, We're missing
Yeah.
another player that can play across the front three positions and contribute goals.
We
Because
haven't
if we
even
get
got Luis Diaz anymore. Like, it's one of them, isn't it?
pick one injury up, or yeah, and then AFCON, Salah's not there. You
That's
know
what I
what I
said.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so who's there now? Is it a Doak? Is it an Elliot? It's
I
like
think Harvey Elliott's going, mate.
I also do, but that's probably another conversation. But
Yeah, yeah. It's another
love
conversation.
love to see him stay. I love to see him work for his place
I
and,
can
and
see
get
him going to
game time.
Spurs after James Madison's injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But I just think there needs to be another player that can rotate in and rotate out. Isak won't play every single game of the season, let's be
No.
honest.
He has got
Um,
that injury record as well, Dave, hasn't he?
that's
He's
what I
got.
need. So he can't play every single game. Plus, we are firing on all cylinders, and you would imagine with the money being spent that we have been told to go and get as many trophies
Yeah.
as possible
Well,
within the next 2-3 years. Win while you can. I read something that interesting about the FSG model is they won't throw dead money. So while City
no.
were doing so well and spending loads of money, FSG were very reluctant to throw money at it because they were like,
Yeah.
well,
What's the
why?
point? Yeah.
Then
Gerrard said
they've
Victor
seen the
Osimhen.
opportunity. Yeah, they've seen the opportunity now. Arsenal not quite there, Chelsea not quite there yet. City fell off massively. We don't even need to speak about United.
No.
You know what I mean? But they saw the opportunity and just said, "Now's the time."
Yeah.
Go and get the trophies now. They apparently did it for the baseball team. There was
Apparently
another.
so. Yeah.
I'm not in on the American sports, so
No, no, I'm not myself. No.
but the analogy was there was like at the same time there was another baseball team doing really well. They were just like just hold and
What's the
wait.
point?
Yeah, hold and wait, and then when there was an opportunity, they went out, spent big, and won.
Gerrard said it, didn't he, Dave? Gerrard said, "Fix the roof when the sun is shining, mate." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
So
that's it. So you've gone now. They've won the league, and they've got now they'll
we're going
invest
big,
heavily.
aren't we?
And don't forget, there's a lot of money come in this season. A
This is
lot
what I
of
mean.
money.
People are saying about the spending. It's like it's completely valid. Like we're nowhere near PSR. Like we're fine.
Yeah.
It's not PSR that we need to worry about, though. It's the
Yeah,
UEFA one. So UEFA's rules require that you have 70% maximum of your annual turnover spent on
right.
salaries, amortization, agent fees, and other
Yeah.
bits and pieces other than infrastructure. We've been in the mid 60s the past couple of years. Hence, and that's more strict than the PSR rules that are there. But we've been so well run, and the money that we've brought in this season is basically we could spend £1 billion this summer alone across the whole summer, and we still wouldn't end up amortizing more than United or Chelsea are at the moment.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy. You can't even comprehend them figures. You just can't even comprehend them, and it's crazy to me. And I just wanted to mention, Stephen, when you mentioned about like PSG earlier on, you look at what they've done with the team. That Luis Enrique, he's a fantastic manager, and you look at the money that they spend. But sorry to go off topic, but just to touch back on what you said before, Stephen, I just wanted to make this one point. Sorry, with the way PSG are and the way they line up and what they've said about we do need that number 9, we are missing that piece, and we already have that sort of broad attacking line. I think we could be looking at more of it. I think Arne Slot, especially, considering how good PSG are. Let's be honest, Paris Saint-Germain and really the football that they're playing has been great. So maybe Arne Slot's looking at that and he's trying to come up with some sort of a, because I think as Liverpool fans we're so used to the way Jurgen Klopp plays a 4-3-3 and he has done for 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at it where it's like Arne Slot's coming in, he's got this new philosophy and he's wanting to maybe play that different formation. Ekatike can play in it too. Ekatike could probably go out wide. Just because we're bringing in Isak doesn't mean that they all can. Because a lot of the time I see people saying, how are they all going to fit on the pitch together? So if you compare that, the way Arne Slot is and the money that we do have to spend, like you said, they've mentioned about how FSG have done it over in America and yourself, Stephen, how we'd have to spend nearly £1 billion or euros, whatever it is, just to even come close to any sort of issues or even actually still be okay in the long run. I think it's exciting times to come, guys, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah,
No, it is.
it
It
is.
definitely is.
Yeah.
Just want to point out, Isak plays really well out from the left as well. So, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
he did associate that. He did associate that, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're after a fluid three, or like like we've seen from PSG with those interchangeable players.
That's what I'm saying, Dave. It's the way Luis Enrique. I don't know how he does it now with Dembele, Kvaratskhelia. I think that's how you
We
pronounce
did it
it.
last season with Diaz and Gakpo on the left. Salah just didn't invert, but you've seen an awful lot of the time. Diaz and Gakpo both interchanged. Sometimes one played center forward, sometimes one played left wing, and then they switched. Having a front three that has the ability to do that. So Ekitike can actually play left and right. When he was playing with Marmoush was more the left. Ekitike liked to drift to the right. But that was in a front two. Then when Marmoush left, Ekitike was just basically all across the front three. He was the guy that was the outlet, the last guy on the ball, basically what Salah was doing for us last season. And then Isak as well is very similar in that regard of the last guy on the ball. You can lob it long and he'll be there. But they also have the ability to drift left, drift right into sort of those half spaces between the centre backs and the full backs. So I could imagine you'll probably see at some point this season, you'll see Florian Wirtz on the left wing, but he'll be a left winger. What will happen is that you'll have a 4-2-2-2. So your back four will be Kerkez, Konate, Van Dijk, Frimpong or Bradley. Then you'll have your double pivot of McAllister and Gravenberch. And what will happen is that basically McAllister, and then you'll have Wirtz and Salah either side, and then you'll have the two strikers of Ekitike and Isak if Isak comes.
I love that.
Basically, what will happen is Gravenberch will drop between the two centre backs to make a back three. The two full backs go flying.
Yeah.
McAllister moves up to be sort of a central 8, and then you have Salah and Wirtz drift in a little bit and be kind of like left and right 10s, and then now you have
centre attacking midfielders like a Lam and a Ram, like just centre, like just like basically that 10 position. Yeah.
And then the handy thing about that is then you have fullbacks going either side of you, depending on what side you're on. You then also have Salah able to make a cutting run inside, Isak able to make a cutting run inside, and if the ball is then the other side, you have Wirtz able to make a cutting run inside, or Ekitike able to make a cutting run inside. And then if the ball goes to the fullbacks, you then have 3 to 4 players that are big chance finishers, able to crash the box immediately for those cutbacks and crosses. I wouldn't shock me if that's how you've seen the squad line up in certain games. Also, I can see us lining up in a 4-2-3-1. I can see us lining up in a 4-3-3. As we said about PSG, it adds so much tactical flexibility that a back four won't know who they're facing, because all of a sudden they're looking at Alexander Isak, and then they're like, okay, I have to defend him this way, and then they're like, shit, now it's Ekitike, I have to defend him this way, and now I have Mo Salah running at me.
Behind them. Yeah.
And now I have Mo Salah running at me full speed, and I haven't a clue what he's going to do, and now I have to worry about Frimpong after flying past me on my left shoulder, and I have and then 2 seconds later, you're like, now Florian Wirtz is running at me, and Salah's gone past me, and
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's going to be nice that will be far less unpredictable as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Dave 4-3-3's been Jürgen's way for years.
It was every single week, and he didn't really see much tweaking or moving of the formation. It was every now and then if we really had to. But Slot seemed to do it quite regularly through games.
Yeah.
The formation changes and pivots quite often, you know what I mean, which is great. You know what I mean? It really is unpredictable, which is fantastic. So certainly looking forward to that. But I want to see
No, go ahead, Dave. Sorry, I was going to.
I just want to see Isak come in now. I'm so invested in it.
So am I, mate. I'm like that. Dave, I am the same, mate. Honestly, mate, I'm the same. It's just like I must have made about.
You have 100 videos.
10 videos on Isak. I'm just literally like Ekitike. It was like I made like 3 videos, and then like next thing you know, we got the here we go. And it's like, okay, so it's like Isak's just like rumbling on. I'm just like, can we just get it out? Can we just get it done now? Like, if we're gonna get him, we're gonna get him. We've already tested the waters. Richard Hughes has already said, right, and they haven't said no. The big thing for me is if he was not for sale, they wouldn't have a
Yeah.
valuation of 150 million.
Yeah.
So he is obtainable.
Yeah.
He is obtainable, and he's already stated that he only wants Liverpool Football Club.
The
So
language has changed notably
yes,
from not for
yeah.
sale to
Spot on,
to,
Dave.
to looking at options to now. We
Yeah.
now realise that we might need to sell these. You know what I mean?
It's all about
changed.
we might have to just to keep all parties happy,
Yeah.
and we might have to look into the they're starting to come to the realization that unfortunately, it's not about big brother, little brother, because that's just not how I don't think. I mean, if you want to be pedantic, it can be if you're one of them type of people. But for me, it's just about it's just a fact of the matter that we are just a bigger club.
It's the natural pecking order.
Yes. No disrespect to Newcastle.
Well, it's nice that now we're not in the bottom in the food chain.
Yeah.
We're now at the top of it. We've had it.
Mate,
They've been
it's just
taken off
happened.
us. All of our stars have been taken off us. Fernando Torres
Coutinho,
hurt the
Suarez.
most. Torres hurt the most. After that, nothing could hurt me again. But Torres was the one, wasn't it? He was
Set you off, mate. Set you off.
It did, yeah.
A lifetime of sadness and stress, wondering what Liverpool are going to do.
Exactly, yeah. But it happens that, the bigger club or the more powerful club, comes in at the time and takes the player away. So, but in conclusion to that little section, Isak just needs to come now because we're all invested. We're all invested.
Everybody's already started buying the shirts, so might as well come.
Yeah.
Before we move on to our last topic, guys, there's over 8,000 people watching us currently at the moment.
Thank you
so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure your notifications are on for all future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. There'll be a Luis Diaz replacements video coming out in the next 2 days, hopefully, from myself. So make sure you have your notifications on for that. If you're currently watching on X or Twitter at the moment, go down into the comments. You'll see a link straight to the YouTube channel, and you can subscribe there for us. We'd very much appreciate it. But on the striker subject, we might as well stick on it. Darwin Nunez apparently could be gone for 70 million quid, and that is a big middle finger to anybody who thought he wasn't going to go for any money, and that Napoli and AC Milan were going to shortchange us, and that we just might take a pay cut. But they don't seem to realise that they're dealing with Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, who know for a fact that Saudi money was sat there, so they weren't accepting anything less because they knew they get the Saudi money.
Yeah,
he has performed well in pre-season.
Yeah,
but I think it's time that everybody cuts ties. I personally loved him as a player. I absolutely adored him, and I think he spoke to an awful lot of what Liverpool fans want from a player, in that if you go out and you absolutely run your bollocks off and you put in the effort. Dirk Kuyt was a similar player. Not the best in the end product, but I can guarantee you he worked harder than every other player on that pitch. Similarly with Darwin Nunez, while some things weren't there and there was flashes in the pan and maybe sometimes there was moments of brilliance, that brace against Brentford, that we were in a bit of a rocky stage at that point.
Newcastle.
Hilariously.
The Newcastle one.
Hilariously, and this is true because I looked it up. He holds the Premier League record for the most amount of 90th minute plus winners. Since he joined.
That came up today.
Does he actually? Yeah.
It came up today, and I only got thinking about it, and they said, you know what, he came up with such clutch goals last season, last minute winners and equalisers to win points.
Since he came into the league,
he helped us win the league.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
Since he came into the league, no other player, and if you want to talk about clutch you'd assume is like a guy comes off a bench and bags a goal or an assist. No other player in the Premier League since he joined has more goals or assists off the bench either.
There you go. And
this is sort of this is the thought process that I have.
This is why me and Death, week in, week out, we're like, he needs to stay. No, he needs to go.
Literally, mate.
We love him.
I'm like that to him, Skinner. I'm like that to Dave. I'm like, Skinner, Darwin Nunez. I'm just saying, he done it in Portugal when he shaved his head. He cooked the first weekend. Did we keep him? I'm just, is he as good as Mateta, or is he as good as a backup striker we could bring in?
Yeah, he is. He's better. And I think we even said this, that we're in a lucky position with Nunez. We don't need to sell him. There's absolutely no need to sell him. He could stay.
No, he could stay. He might stay.
What he
there's
might
no
say,
link.
if no striker comes in and we are willing to wait for Isak for another 6 months or a year, then
Yeah.
for me, you just keep Nunez. And like you said, there's no player scored more off the bench or assisted more. Then there you go. He's your guy off the bench. And he might be an expensive one, but he's doing that. He can do it, you know.
Yeah,
If you
I
win the
agree.
league, who cares?
I
But
agree.
if we know that Isak's in the bag, and there's obviously
Yeah.
stuff going on behind the scenes we don't know, and there's gentlemen's agreements and stuff going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if we know Isak's in, you'll see Nunez go out, and for 70 million, then
The thing is though, Dave, sorry to interrupt you. The thing is, mate, it's like Newcastle are in this bit of a stance with Man United over Šeško.
yeah,
I
why
just
haven't they
don't know.
come
I
in?
just don't know why. I just
Why
don't know
haven't they
why we
signed him?
don't. Why don't? Well, not even that. Not even that. I just don't know why we don't just like go to Newcastle and say, well, yeah, if they're messing you about, let United do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like they are a big club in their own respect, etc. Obviously, it's Manchester United, and they'll probably have to pull to get the player. But if it was me, I'd just say, look, Nunes wants to play first team football. He wants to be that number 9. He hasn't quite hit the ground running at Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, I love him. Like Dave said before, Stephen, me and him actively talk about how, do we keep Nunes, and we have a laugh about it and stuff. But just say to Eddie Howe, we are, look, take Nunes. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know why Newcastle are screaming for a number 9, and we're trying to bring in Isak alongside Ekatike to be our sort of number 1, number 2, whether they play together, whatever. It depends on the day and how we line up at that time in the future. But we technically have 2 number 9s. Just say to Newcastle, is Darwin Nunez. He wants to play first team football week in, week out. And I think he'd be great. I don't even think he's a bad player, mate. I just think for whatever reason he's just whether it's the
Pressure.
the pressure, the number 9 on his back, the weight of filling in, as a Liverpool number 9. You never know. It could just have got to him, and it's just not materialised, has it? But why don't we just say to
It's
Eddie
just not
Howe, I mean,
clinical. Yeah.
yeah,
Not clinical enough for what we need, I suppose.
exactly.
And with the price tag, which isn't his fault. If he'd come in for 30-40 million, I
It
don't
was
think
all the
no
Haaland
one would
stuff as
care.
well.
Yeah, no,
Compare. There was people saying like he's gonna be a completely better all round striker than Erling Haaland.
yeah.
It's just like yeah, they come in at the same time. Foreign league, Man City, Liverpool, big rivalry, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
if that was me, I'd be absolutely fuming because it's like, hang on a minute. Like
Yeah.
I've been kicking me balls around in Portugal. I haven't even been in. Not no disrespect to the Portuguese league, but it's not even within Europe's top 5 leagues.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming in, I'm getting compared to Erling Haaland, who's absolutely destroyed it over in Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
So
Machine.
you can't win Darwin Nunez, in my opinion.
No. I don't
And
know. We all love him completely, don't we?
yeah,
I just
I
think
love him,
I
mate. He's a
think
great.
if he'd come in at like 30 million, just no one would care. He's
No,
missed a few.
exactly.
He's
Yeah,
come off
yeah,
the
yeah.
bench and scored all these goals. He's been super clinical. The fact is, he came in. Look, we spent a lot of money. He came in at the same time as Haaland, so there was them obvious
Yeah, yeah.
lazy connections. Who's going to be better between these two? And I just think
He scored in the Community Shield on his debut against Man City.
it is. Yeah, with the header.
And Erling Haaland absolutely had a stinker, so that didn't help the cause, did it?
No, exactly. Yeah, kind of set it all up. And you know what? Maybe he was never going to be that guy. Maybe it was
Yeah.
just never going to happen. But like I said, I think Nunes can't really go unless we've got another forward coming in.
Yeah.
Though, as far as I'm concerned, going back to this front 4, 5, we need 6 forwards if we're going to play this kind of system across
He's probably on the way out.
Premier League, Champions League. I mean, Chiesa didn't get a sniff last year.
Do you think he'll come on tonight? Do you think he'll come on now, 8 o'clock? Do you think he'll come on now, the second half, maybe?
If he doesn't come on today, he's getting sold. That's it.
Yeah. If you're not getting on in the second game of the day against Bilbao, like you're done for, lad.
I think he'll play. I think he'll play some minutes. He's a good player. He came in, but we've not seen enough of him, anywhere near enough of him to make any kind of predictions about how he can do for us. So he might have been a signing that we brought in because we thought we can make money on him next year. Because we've seen that happen before. Players have come in, not really played much, and then we've made profit on them. It could have been one of them. It's Moneyball again, isn't it? I don't think we can rely on him next season in terms of, I don't think Slot rates him that highly. Otherwise, we
No.
would have seen
Yeah.
far more of him this year. You know, when we did have misfiring forwards, Chiesa was just sat there on the bench, you know,
Yeah.
5 subs, and he still wasn't coming on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Everyone was coming on above him, so he's
Yeah.
clearly not rated or valued by Slot, you know, and that's, you know, fair enough. That's the manager's prerogative. So I do think you'll see him go. So Nunez, I don't think we can afford to lose Nunez unless
No.
a striker's coming in or at least another forward's coming in. But then another 70 mil landing certainly strengthens our cause. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
throw another 10 million at Isak then, you know.
Yeah.
Or is it we go and have a look at a Rodrigo or I don't know.
Fofana's a great young talent over in Lyon. I think he's
You like
playing.
him?
I think he's
You
playing in
like
League
him?
One with France.
You like him, don't you? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Everton were acquiring about him as well, weren't they?
Oh, I heard about that.
I think they bid 34 million and it was rejected. Somebody of the same sort of ilk as Rodrigo or Fofana would be the proper type of signing that we could make.
Yeah.
Rodrigo is the better version of that because he can play left, right, and central. He's played center forward.
Yeah.
And the ironic thing about it is the whole Moneyball thing is finding value where other people don't see it.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to want to go near him because he's not that great. He's clearly not a great right winger. And I'm like, well, yeah, because he's a left winger. Yeah. And he's playing in the right wing because neither Vinny Jr. nor Mbappe have the ability or the want to play on the right wing. Yeah. And he's doing all of their dirty work while he's at it as well. Yeah. He's the workhorse of that front three, of probably the most unbalanced front three in Europe at the moment. And he's bagging a goal or an assist every second game while he's at it. Yeah. If we got him for the left wing, he would be ridiculous. If you we've sold Luis Diaz for 65 million. We can basically turn around and buy Rodrigo for a net spend of what, 12, 13 million more, and then throw on the 70 million we might end up getting for Nunez, and now go get Mark Gahey for 35 million, 40 million on deadline day. And
I'd do that, Stephen. I'd do that, mate. And I'd go and get Fofana. I think if we sell Nunez and Diaz and we don't get Isak in that world, that we just don't get Isak, Nunez goes.
Yeah, if we don't get Isak, gets 2. Yeah.
We go and get Rodrigo. We go and get Mark Gay. We go and get Fofana. Or do we prioritise maybe another young centre half? I don't know. But I think there isn't that many out there at the moment. And I think that's why it's pivotal that Ibrahim Konate signs a contract. He has to.
We need some homegrown players though as well.
Yeah, but Rio Wingamo helps with that. Mark Gay also.
He doesn't count towards it. He's not old enough.
No, he's not 17 yet. Or was it 18?
He's not 17.
No, you need to classify as homegrown. You need to have at least 3 years in an FA, Welsh FA or English FA setup for before your 21st birthday. He's not homegrown yet. He doesn't count towards the quota. Mark Gahey does. We are currently on the limit. I think you're allowed 17. We have 17. If Isak comes in, we're 1 over. If Nunez goes out or Chiesa goes out, we're 1 to 2 under the quota.
Okay.
So we're on the limit as it is at the moment.
Yeah, so Mark Gahey would again just be. I just think it's huge that he comes in because he's obviously mass. You know, not only
homegrown, hilariously.
Wait, sorry.
Frimpong counts as homegrown.
Oh yeah, he does. He does. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he does because
Andy Robertson doesn't.
No, because he's Scottish. Yeah, is that right?
It's just only the Welsh and the English FA, the Scottish FA doesn't count.
Criminal.
So that's why sort of like we're on the cusp of it, and that's probably why things are taking their time at the moment because we're so close to it. But that being said, we're 4 minutes away from kickoff for the second game. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish it up there, guys, and let everybody go and watch the second game. Before we let everybody go, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Over 9,500 people watching us across YouTube and Twitter at the moment. Very much appreciate that. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. And if you're currently watching on X or Twitter at the moment, jump down into the comments. You'll see a link straight to the YouTube page. jump on there, subscribe, hit your notifications, and you'll see a video coming out in the next 2 days for all of the Luis Diaz replacements. Rodrigo is one of them, Malik Fofana is another, and I have 3 others on top of it as well that'll be really interesting too. So hopefully everybody's around for that. Oh, there goes Dave. Oh no, he's back. We'll get him come back so he can say his goodbyes.
He's back. He's back.
Right, guys, we're going to finish it up there. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Hope everybody had a wonderful evening, and let's go watch Liverpool face Bilbao for the second game over the next 2 hours. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.